giving up the Redskins giving up like what was it, 130 plus yards to Joseph Adai and the Colts
Well,
that
if you
had
look
the
at-
30 the one of the worst statistically running games in the NFL.
All right, let's be real. If you looked at our body of work this season, who haven't we given up yards in terms of average yards? Average yards to carry. So look at Brandon Jackson. He didn't do nothing, and he had that big run against us. I mean, Joseph Adai. Honestly, I can see Matt Forte doing the same thing.
I think, well, the reason the Colts rushing game gets, I guess, looked down upon is, I mean, they throw the ball a lot, so it's kind of hard for you to expect a team that throws the ball a whole lot to really get into a rushing game. But in other words, I mean, I seen Hainsworth up in the skybox. You think he should have been inactive? You think he should have been playing?
All I can say is this: if a man is grieving and he's in a situation where he decides to come out there and says he wants to come and play, give him the respect to let him play. I mean, he could have spent time with his family, grieving with his loss. If he's going to give him the respect and just have him play. That was my whole stance. If he's going to be on the team, you're going to let him practice. If you didn't want him to play, then say, Albert, you can't play. Go back to Tennessee.
Well, my only thing is just him sitting in the skybox. I thought he would at least be down on the field with his teammates during the game if he's not going to play. I mean, to me, him sitting in the skybox this is a big time game. This is a Sunday night game. I thought it was almost like he's just there, to show face. I mean, I thought he really wanted to root off his teammates. He'd have been down on the sideline.
I mean, if you look at it, you can look at it that way, or you can look at it as he wanted to play bad and he just didn't feel like being on the field. He's going through a lot of stuff. So for us to dissect how he's feeling in terms of if that's cool or whatever, it's hard to do.
I think this Albert Hainsworth thing has gone on for far too long. I don't think anyone imagined it playing out the way it has. He's been inactive for 2 games this season already. He missed voluntary keyword workouts, and then just the way the back and forth between him and Shanahan and the media. And I think a lot of it has to do with just people like us talking about it. We keep adding fire to the flame.
Man, it's just fun to talk about Albert, though. I mean, you think his date makes him play nose tackle up in Sweet, though? I don't think she does. But in other news, though, we talking Sean Merriman, a local dude. We hearing about this. If he gets released by the San Diego Chargers, is the Skins going to pick him up? I mean, to me, do they really need to pick him up? What you guys think?
Me personally, I do. Even though he's not the Sean Merriman who he was the first couple of years when he came into the league, but the Redskins playing a 3-4 defense, and to be realistic, outside of Brian Orakpo, they don't have any pass rushers. They don't have anyone who's consistently putting pressure on the offensive line to get to the quarterback. So I think Sean Merriman in that aspect can help fill a void in their defense. When it comes to pass coverage, he's not the greatest. When it comes to keeping containment against the run on the end, he's not the greatest. But I think getting to the quarterback, if you use him in the right situations, I think he will thrive in the Redskins defense.
First thing first. The Ravens are showing a big interest in Sean Merriman.
I'm hearing, between Baltimore and Miami.
And it looks like the Ravens are the favorite, being local or whatnot. Secondly, I think we're thinking of Sean Merriman as that individual in San Diego in his prime. This knee injury, we don't know how he can produce with this Redskins team, if he can be effective. He's been on the PUP list like forever, it seems like. Even last year, I think he barely played. So for us to think that he can be that Sean Merriman, it'd be hard to say. I'm a fan of him. I would like to get him just off his past resume alone, but you never know.
I mean, me personally, I think he's damaged goods because if he really was up to 100% healthy, then, I mean, you don't give up pass rushers of his caliber. So I don't think you should be. I think you should stay away from him for real because a player his caliber and the team's just willing. I mean, he's still in his prime. He's not. It's not like he's 30+ years old. So obviously, they must see something in his game that they willing to get rid of him this early. So I think it's damaged goods. Unless you get him at a cheap, low price, I stay away from him. But previewing for an upcoming game, they playing the Bears. It's in Chicago. Donovan going home. His mom got some Campbell Chunky soup waiting for him. I mean, what you think about the upcoming game with the Bears?
You can attest this, Will. That Donovan typically plays good in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I hope that he can actually have a good game this season other than the Houston Texans game. I hope this is the game. All I can hope for is we can confuse Jay Cutler. I mean, he's known to throw the ball up there. Hopefully somebody can actually catch it on our team. And hopefully we can stop Forte. We haven't shown to stop the run in terms of quality backs. Hopefully we can stop him.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I like your chances against the Bears. I mean, I think that one, like you said, Donovan plays good in Chicago. Another thing is, I think the Bears secondary. I mean, like we talked about Anthony Armstrong earlier during the break. I think this might be a big game for him. I mean, I think he'll take advantage of like Nathan Vasher. His stock might go up, so somebody might trade for Anthony Armstrong. You never know.
Is Nathan Vasher still there?
Is he? What's the other dude? Peanut Tillman, my bad. They look the same, man. But who you like over there, Will, between them two?
It's a tough one, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with the Redskins. I'm gonna go with the Redskins this week. But I will say this: if Jay Cutler's smart, he'll throw towards Carlos Rogers, because Carlos Rogers will not intercept any one of his passes.
Well, we about to hop into the other NFL news. We get back from this commercial break, but I wouldn't mind seeing Darrell Green playing the Chicago Bears game. He would hold his rib, return a punt, but that's some other stuff. I know Wally Slice off that one, but we about to hop into that commercial break.
I'm a champion, realize Shaq's mechanism. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hi, Shaquille O'Neal for Rad. This is not your normal PSA. Don't be stupid. Don't drink and drive. If you're gonna go out and have a good time, it's fine, but designate a driver to drive home. Let's stop the madness. Don't drink and drive.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
You thought you knew, but you have no idea. It's the Urban Sports Scene.
Welcome back to the Urban Sports Team. We're about to hop into that other NFL action that was going on this weekend. I mean, what you guys think about the games this weekend? Players, I mean, anything stood out to you guys? Any particular game you'd like to see? I mean, how you guys do for you?
As an Eagles fan, I was impressed by the Kevin Kolb's play against Atlanta. He was poised. He pushed the ball down the field. He was accurate. He made his way through his progression. Also, I would say I'm impressed by the way the Giants are playing as a team. The New York Giants, they're playing, their defense is playing impeccable. O.C. Umenyiora, I believe it was his third game in a row with 2 sacks. I think that the Giants' defense is on the way back, and they're going to help the Giants later on during the season and make a playoff run.
Well, this Vic Cobb thing, I mean, how you think that's going to play out?
That's an interesting question, because the way, just me personally, I think the way our team, the Eagles are constructed, you got to go with Vic, just because our offense is more, it's kind of, if to use a basketball analogy, it's a fast break offense. We're not going to put together any long drives. If you're going to go with a player that's going to put together the long drives, it's going to be Kolb, because he's going to dink and dump you all the way down the field. But Michael Vick, he has that arm to go deep. And with Deshaun Jackson, with the speed we have on the outside with Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin, I just think he's a better fit.
Well, speaking of the Eagles, we had that pick, that Atlanta versus Eagles game this weekend. I think, did some of us go with Atlanta? Because a couple of us went with the Eagles. I mean, talk about that game right there. I mean, Ray, you an Atlanta fan. Will, you an Eagles fan. I mean, we just talked about Cobb and Vic. I mean, did that game not show you what Cobb can do in a pretty? I mean, it was a pretty big game. I mean, Atlanta's one of the top tier teams, so it didn't show anything.
I respect the win. I mean, I think that's the type of NFL season it's been. You see the Rams beat the Redskins, then get whooped by Detroit. Atlanta, with the whole bus commercial and all that, I think they were a little hyped coming into the game, a little overhyped. They didn't get any pressure on Kolb without Jason Peter being there. That surprised me, because I think that's how you get Kolb rattled. You get some pressure on him. So he still played well after Deshaun Jackson went out the game, so I'll give him credit on that. Dante Robinson, his hit on Deshaun Jackson, I think that was a shoulder-to-helmet hit. I don't think he should have been fined. It was obviously a hard hit. I do feel bad for Deshaun Jackson, but it's another example why the NFL can go to 18 games, because people are just going to be going out left and right. And ESPN, they're reporting this all day long. Should they go to 18 games?
Kind of exaggerating the whole thing. I mean, this is football.
And they had a segment called Jacked Up where they highlighted stuff like this. So, anyway, to make a long story short, ATL will bounce back against Cincinnati next week. But I'll give props to the Eagles this week. That's how the NFL has been this season. I don't know if Kolb is that dude. We'll see when the time gets cold and they play the Giants at home.
Hey, when we going to tally our picks, though? Quick question.
I guess, I don't know, I'm probably like in a hole. I mean, I think some of us kind of negative. I mean,
I know I picked the Atlanta game wrong. I mean, I picked Atlanta to win.
So I know I was just doing right.
I wasn't here last week, so
I think I might have went with the Eagles. I mean, because they was at home, but but as far as we talking about the Eagles, I mean, Kolb didn't show you enough in that game, or
he showed me a lot in this game. But me personally, like Ray said, I want to see cold weather games, and I think this game against Tennessee is going to be a great test, because this is a very, very tough defense.
Well, in other games we was picking on was the Baltimore and New England. I think most of us went with Baltimore in that game, but New England was able to pull it out with that the overtime field goal. I mean, and like Ray talked about earlier with the Dante Robinson hit, I mean, the safety for New England, he had a big hit also. Matter of fact, he had like 2. I mean, what you guys think about that and think about the game?
I mean, that hit was dirty. I'll go on that. That hit was dirty. He led with his helmet, so that was basically a dirty hit. So that it is what it is with that one. It was a homecoming game for Deion Branch. Deion Branch had 98 yards and a touchdown, a key touchdown in the game. And I think in terms of Baltimore's defense, I think they just choked to me. They looked